6th of November at Moor, so stick that in your diary. Now, the Best Bad Influence, they were in here a few weeks ago. They played live for us here. They're a rockabilly band. They played at the weekend at the Pierhead Tavern in Arran. I don't think they were able to go up on Saturday because of the storm, but they managed to open Sunday and played. They've got a gig coming up at Mono as well, and a couple of gigs at Tolbooth and Stirling, I think, and Paisley with the Hillbilly Moon Explosion. I'm going to play the Best Bad Influence first. This was live when I was here at Camglen Radio. It's in the Shaker, and then after that
and see a dinosaur, if you're lucky. You can hear them if you try. Here's Catherine.
Patterns are when you've got your core rhythm or your core pattern, which then has been layered with people playing it starting in different places. So once you've got that going together, so maybe 4 people playing the same notes at different times, resulting patterns are what you hear coming out of that. So you'll hear a totally new melody, not played by anyone individually, but collectively you can find something else. So it could be something totally different. So if we're going you might hear and once it's gone and someone's played that, the audience still goes, I can still hear it. Now I can't see anyone playing it at all, but it's still there. So it's the combination of everything together that brings something new to the table.
Catherine Ring, hearing things that both are and aren't there. And that's only one of the ways that these kinds of so-called minimalist musical experience are about the most fundamental and the most essential, the most important dimensions of our music, ways of hearing. Just as minimalist works of visual art reconfigured ways of seeing and even definitions of what art might be, like the controversy that surrounded Carl Andre's Bricks, actually a piece called Equivalent 8 in the early 1970s when it was exhibited at the Tate Gallery in London. So too have these musical pieces and these composers changed our way of hearing music and the world. Minimalism has had a maximalist impact where it matters most in musical culture, in our brains and our bodies. Which is why I want to end today's programme by suggesting that the label minimalism does a radical disservice to the music that it describes. For a start, as we've been hearing, it's a label that encompasses so many different kinds of music, from fast-paced workouts to meditative drones to experimental gags, even to silent pieces. I haven't mentioned John Cage's 433 yet. Have now. And then there are the radical repertoires of Julius Eastman, or the deep listening of Pauline Oliveros, or even what was once called the holy minimalism of Henryk Gorecki or Arvo Pärt. The idea that there's a single constant that defines all of this music is bunkum, pure and simple. Not only that, the influences of the music we really shouldn't call minimalist anymore on the styles and surfaces of so many of today's musical cultures, from pop grooves to TV soundtracks, from film scores to concert hall classics. This is all miles away from a supposedly minimal moniker. It's had a huge impact across the whole of musical culture. One very final thought though. Steve Reich may have wanted to escape the angst of the expression of European modernism, but his music has opened up new kinds of emotional expression for listeners like me and for performers too. Here's Catherine Ring with today's very final thought, the emotional tumult of music for 18 musicians.
The emotion comes through any sort of, I guess even just build-ups or that tension that's built all the way through it, because even though it's, a long piece, you have these small fragments and hints of where it's going to go, but then when you get that release and the bass is in there and the pianos and everyone's playing at the same time, and that kind of climax of the music, that's like anything, like people that love Mahler, Beethoven cadences, it's the climactic points that are definitely reached within this music. But I guess as a percussionist, those sort of fragments and rhythm, it's highly rhythmical all the way through and keeping that pulse. There's something about that that's, I don't know, magnetic maybe.
writes music for 18 musicians, ending today's edition of The Listening Service. The presenter was Tom Service and the producer was Elizabeth Fonning. And if there's a topic that you'd like Tom to tackle in a future edition, then do email the programme at the listening service, all one word, at bbc.co.uk. Now, on In Concert on Radio 3 tonight, the Bang on a Can All-Stars join Bramwell Tovey and the BBC Concert Orchestra at London's Queen Elizabeth Hall to perform works by John Adams and Steve Martland, the UK premiere of a new work by Julia Wolfe, and Philip Glass's Third Symphony. That's tonight, live on Radio 3, In Concert at 7:30. And if you can't listen live, you can download later on BBC Sounds. Next week here on Radio 3...
In the run-up to International Women's Day, our Composer of the Week is someone that, until recently, I'd never heard of. Florence Price achieved a number of historic firsts, including becoming the first African-American woman to achieve international success as a composer. Yet many of her major works have only just been rediscovered, and I have the joy of being able to share with you some rare recordings and talk to a champion of Price and her music.
She represents a whole parallel history that was happening in classical music, a story that hasn't been told.
Join me, Donald MacLeod, for Composer of the Week, Florence Price, next Monday to Friday at noon on BBC Radio 3.
You're listening to BBC Radio 3 and it's 5 o'clock, so it's time now for In Tune.
It is, and a very good afternoon. Friday Salon Night open in our capacious pop-up